pains me when I watch it.
Right? I feel like I have to rewatch the whole series now with all the insights.
That's what
And
I
like
think.
I have to look out for Easter eggs as well.
Exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
No.
yeah. And all the jokes.
Welcome back to the channel. Today you can learn about the making of ClaireBell and the music videos, for example, of Jeff Satur and Billkin and PP.
So make sure you stick around for the entire interview and let us know in the comments down below what surprised you the most. At SabaiChillBL, we explore the art of Thai entertainment and sit down for conversations with actors, actresses, as well as the creators who shape the series we love.
Get ready for deeper insight into their craft and a closer look at the culture that brings their stories to life.
Well, Jeen, welcome to SabaiChillBL. We are very happy to talk to you today. For our viewers who don't know you yet, maybe you could introduce yourself, who you are, what you're doing.
My name is Jeen. Real name is Prach Rojanasinwilai. And I'm a director based in Thailand actually. I do music videos and recently just finished my first ever series, ClaireBell.
Because of ClaireBell, we're sitting here today because we're really interested in knowing how you kind of worked on that series. So, but before we jump into the questions, we actually have a fun little game with you to get to know you a bit
Mm-hmm.
better. So it's basically you have to pick three things from three different categories. So
Uh-huh.
whatever comes first to your mind, just scream it into the void, I guess. And so the first category would be, can you tell us three shows or movies that influenced your storytelling style?
I really like this filmmaker. I don't know if you guys, Paul Thomas Anderson. I love all of his movies, but particularly this film called Magnolia. Have a watch. It's great. It's like a 3 hour epic about like people's life, how it entwined with one another, done in a very fashionable way. Yeah. So he's my one of my favorite filmmaker, and I also like Yorgos Lanthimos' film, Poor Things. When I was young, what got me into like watching movies is the Harry Potter series.
Well, thank you for sharing. We just go with the next category. So, do you have three words that describe your working style on set?
Fun. I like to have fun on set. I think that's very important for everyone. You don't really want to make art when you're stressed. Like of course it's stressful, but fun it has to be there. And chill as well. Fun and chill. Like the show. Yeah, yeah. And also hardworking. Yeah, that one has to be there. For I think everyone in the team, like especially Claire Bell, everyone put their all into the show. Everyone's so hardworking, but at the same time you're also like having fun, joking around, and make art and enjoy it.
That sounds like the perfect combination, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, and lastly, do you have three things that you always need nearby when you're working on a set?
In Thailand, and a fan.
Essential.
Yeah, water and my notebook. Yeah, that's the three things.
Ooh. So you jot
Yeah.
down ideas in your notebook.
Yeah, ideas are like some shot that need like I need like oh I just thought of that so I don't forget because then like you can forget things very easily when
Yeah.
working on a show like this size and you're like oh shit what was I thinking and you don't remember. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the notebook, I feel like it's nice to have to just jot down ideas and things that you don't want to forget. But
Yeah.
you were talking about like movies and people that kind of inspired you to be a director, and we were wondering if you like remember something like a moment or something that sparked your interest or your passion.
The first memory actually is kind of funny. It's when I was young. I My parents used to tell me that I would just like run around the room and pretending to be in like a movie or something, like acting the roles out, those stuff. But I thought I wanted to be an actor when I was younger. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wanted to be an actor. So I actually like went to do like drama class in school initially, like thinking, oh, I kind of want to be acting. But then when I realized later, like, oh, I don't want to wait for for people, as in like I don't want to wait to do other people's stuff. I want to do my whole stuff, my whole thing, So like okay, maybe it's directing that's what it's called.
Well, talking about, so your first inspirational idea was to go do theater, then you decided to study
Mhm.
film. We know that you did lots of music videos as well, so like for Jeff Satur or like for Billkin and PP. We were wondering now that ClaireBell is your first series, what are the biggest differences in shooting a short form music video in comparison to a long format series like ClaireBell?
I guess it's the duration of it, the length of it. That's the key. Music videos, you have to tell the story in 3 to 4 minutes. The way I design the story, because then for all music video, I have to design the story, and like what the genre is, what we're doing. For example, like Jeff, the Ghost one, when he's riding the horse. Yeah, yeah. That one, I have to be quite precise in, like every verse, every hook, something has to happen, and then the big difference is music video. I have to treat it like a mime in a way, because there's no dialogue. The story has to be clear visually in every sense. Like if some bits you can like up for interpretation and all that, but like the key of it has to be established through visual only. The way I use the lyrics of the song is, normally it's like to describe the inner monologue of the character. Yeah, so that kind of tells the story, the lyrics, and the picture just like enhance the inner monologue, whatever it can be, you know. And for series is longer, so it's like a marathon more than like a sprint, like stamina on set as well, and you have to do one series. You have to be very into it. If you're not into it, then you can drop off along the way, which is still like with ClaireBell, I'm very into it, but still like sometimes it's so tiring because like we shoot like so many days in a row, and you have to like kind of pull yourself together and like okay, today's a tough day. Let's get it done. Like in music videos, you can kind of get away with things, but then like it's so short. Like maybe this scene is not the best, like well done thing, but like you can sort it out a little bit in edit if you like really like so you're late in the schedule or like you have to cut things out. It's like very you can get away with it, like cutting scenes out and like swap things around. But with series, you can't really do that. You can't just cut a scene out because that scene, like, if it's well written, which ClaireBell is very well written, everything matters. So if we're late, we have to find a way to sneak it in another day or whatever, or just have to push through. So like a different type of managing as well and stamina, like physically and mentally. But you know what? It's kind of the same in a way of working with actors or working with like music video taught me a lot about working with actors, about how to tell a story, succinctly in the music video. So when it becomes long, I know exactly, okay, this scene this is the point of the scene. This character should do like feel this.
It's such an interesting way how you described making music videos, treating it like a silent film.
Yeah.
With ClaireBell, as you said, like every scene is important because also lots of the scenes have really strong dialogue, so you can't just cut it out and leave it and just put some, I don't know, some image in there. It doesn't work that way, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's very interesting and makes so much more sense now.
And it also makes so much more sense, like because you have the cut version and the uncut version,
Ah.
and most of the series, of course, and like it also explains why the uncut version makes so much more sense because you have like important dialogues that are needed to explain the character and the storyline.
I recommend to go watch the uncut version because that is the version. I'll tell you a little thing about Thai television. The reason we have to do cut version is because of the time limit on television. So it's like an hour slot, and we need 20 minutes for commercials. With all the tie-ins and stuff that we had to do. It is important in the sense of like the budget and without them we won't be able to make a show this good, I feel. So but the television is a cut version which pains me when I watch it.
Right? Yeah, because like honestly, when I started watching ClaireBell, I watched the first episode, which was uncut on YouTube, I
Yeah,
think. And
yeah, the
then a
only
friend of
first
mine
episode.
told me, yeah, you need to switch now channels because you cannot watch the
Yeah,
uncut on YouTube anymore. I also feel like even it's just like maybe like a tiny scene, just like the scene is cut just a bit like later, still that bit that is missing gives me some
yeah.
information of like why are we in this moment right now. So I can't imagine that it's like for a director like no, don't cut it, leave
I
this,
didn't
maybe
even watch
this
it.
for a reason.
I didn't even watch it. I haven't seen any of the TV version actually, because that will pain me. I feel. But yeah, like, cause in the uncut version is the version that we, of course, we cut a lot. There's more scenes than the uncut is our version with the editor and me who, and Peter and Pimai as well, the showrunner. So we were like that. This is the ultimate version. This is the version we love. If you look at it, like the music runs so smoothly from one scene to another, or like the design of it, it's like, yeah. But then I watched a little bit of the TV version. I watched one break and I can't.
Yeah. That's so fair though, so fair. And also like I have to throw that in here because ClaireBell really has great music and I found two new Thai artists because of the show, which I'm listening to
Mhm.
now.
Credit to the composer as well. We have two great composers. Apart from the songs, we have Joe and Noah. It's like the two composers who does the ClaireBell theme. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, yeah. So we like take a lot of time to develop that piece of music, and I'm so glad you guys love the song because then I think that's one of the key to it as well. I love the music. Every time that ClaireBell song comes on, I feel so emotional as well as a director even. And all the classical strings and stuff that we use throughout. I think the contrast is quite nice. In prison, like, and you're playing like full on orchestra with like strings and piano.
Maybe also you can talk about this a bit because there's a lot of fans, and we also noticed that the way of shooting the series feels
Uh
very
huh.
different to other series. And maybe that comes from like your music video background, or maybe you can tell us where this is coming from. But what I noticed when I watched the first episode was especially like very close cuts
Yeah, yeah.
of like
Close-ups.
the
Yeah, yeah.
characters. And I feel like that also makes it feel more intense.
That's actually a good pick from you. Cause that is actually planned with the DP, Burin. So we were talking about how do we want to approach the cinematography. So initially we want to do handheld. We want to go handheld way to make things look, to make it more realistic in a sense. I think when I saw the comments, people saying, "Oh, it looks so real." I think that is part of it. It's like a very documentary-ish style, where the camera follows, and I think it's a conscious decision because these are all new actors, you know, like they're amazing, the new actors, but there's also like technicality in acting as well, which we don't have much time. So, like as in if I go still shot or like very like like clean movement and they miss the mark by one point, we have to do it all again you know but with this style it allows them to be free in that space, and I think that's the key of the story, and also with new actors, and to enhance that performance as well. I think it's a little cinematography trick to help, and with the close shots. So me and the DP were deciding how do we approach each episode. So initially, we wanted to go close. I think you saw it, right, Melina? Like, EP one, two, three, it's quite tight with Bell. When Bell enter prison, it's quite tight. You don't know where you are really. We're not establishing like that because then we follow the character, and as it progressed, for example, when Claire and Bell meet, the whole thing feels bigger, more free, more space in the frame, compared to like the beginning when she's like feel like claustrophobic. You're like, oh, I'm in prison, so everything's quite tight, and You know, like so, and then we shot it on 2:3 as well ratio, same IMAX ratio. We were like, we're making it for big screen, but it's on TV. But yeah, so it's all very conscious decision that we made uh, along the way of how we want to approach it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we're very happy that you catch on to that.
I mean, because I personally don't know much about directing and like even acting, but I feel like sometimes you just watch something and you're like, there's something like different from other series, for example, but then it's like, yeah, I'm not too sure what the technique is.
Uh,
There is something. So it is very interesting that you can explain to us what is happening, what your thoughts were about all of this.
Yeah, I mean, this is like one of the reasons why we're doing these interviews with directors and producers from the series, because we're so interested in like how was the decision made and like what does this do? Like what does it mean when we have close-ups, right? So you have like how you explain this claustrophobic feeling, or you like very with Belle in that moment, and then later it gets like wider, and it's like all like subconsciously, but like with intent, and that's like super fun to just like dissect and find out. So
The nerdy knowledge.
hidden nerd, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
awesome. Well, talking even more about filming on set, we were wondering, when you look back to your time on set, what was like maybe the most fun time, or maybe was there a breakthrough shot that you're in hindsight now are very proud of, that you would like to share and dissect maybe even more, or even if it's just like an improv moment or like just a fun time with your team, we would love to hear more about that.
I think there's a lot of improv in the in the series. The jokes, the random jokes at the wrong timing. You know those random jokes. Yeah, yeah. Those are all improv. It's not in the script. Some, like okay, the funny one is like the yogurt scene. When she eat the yogurt and it spins around. So basically in the script it's just like a tie in, right? Of the yogurt. Like in the script it's just like okay, you hold it and like oh this tastes so good. Like clearly it's a tie-in, in my mind. So might as well just like be tongue in cheek about it and then like just fuck around with it a little bit. Because then audience are not stupid, they know what that is. So we just be a bit teasing a little bit, like, yeah, we're doing tie-in, like super tie-in. Let's do a big one. Or the character like Duan, Duan, Dao's sister, played by the actor called I. She had a lot of jokes in her bag. She thought about a lot of things like double slap when Dee Dee slapped Belle and then she got slapped too. Yeah, yeah, stuff like that. She just improvised that, and that's kind of funny. The scene that we are very proud of is the end of episode 2. That took so long to do, and then there's the whole thing at the beginning of episode 3 where everything's slow, and then like Claire is like walking towards Dee Dee, gonna beat her up. The beginning of the episode. Yeah, those scenes took about 5 hours to shoot, which ended up being only 1 minute or like 2 minutes. I'm like, oh. Yeah, so many angles. Oh, and one more shot that like we were very proud. It's the Claire bleeding scene, that iconic one. That luckily took only 2 takes. Cause the thing, I'll tell you how that works. It's like so we stick a syringe on here, with a like a wire, and then there's like a syringe with blood, fake blood. She have to like turn up very cool, and I'll be like, okay, blood time. But if she doesn't do that bit, then we won't do the blood, because then we did 2 takes of that. And the first take it went like that on the side. So we're like, that's not cool. But it took like 20 minutes to clean up the blood, and we have to wait. Yeah, yeah. Because we have to do the makeup all again, and then put it correctly, and then make it come down in that way, or else it won't be cool, right? If it come down, it's not as cool as that. There's a lot of that in the whole thing, with small things that like take so long, but it works. Yeah, so very happy about that.
That's so cool. Yeah, it's really like the tiniest things that take the longest sometimes.
I'm just wondering how, like, when the blood comes down, that is also very a detailed question. Is it depending on like the angle of the head, or like how the syringe is placed, or how is it
Both.
luck? how does it go? Like that it goes
It's
down.
all of them, and I think the most important thing is luck. Working with cats is also luck as well, capybara. That's why you don't see that much cat. Like in a wide shot, you don't see because it won't be continued. So we built that thing. So we built that. If you look at the old the toilet scene, the old one, where the love nest, we built like a thing to cover the floor because then we can't continue the cat, because cat is cat, you know. We shoot the cat separately, and have like the owner of the cat wearing Belle's pants. Some of them you don't see her face is not Belle, because then that it will take a lot of time for her to just sitting there and for the cat to eat and all that.
Really have to be creative to get these shots in the end. Like, okay, how do we get the cat to cooperate?
Yeah, and
We can talk about a bit shortly about challenges during filming. Was like the cat shots one of the biggest challenges, or what would you say was the most challenging while filming the series?
cat shot is it is, but not the main thing. I think the challenge of it all is the performance, actually getting the performance. But I think everyone did a great job, and because then like in movies, the what you're waiting for is like a crescendo of good camera, like you know, like camera and actors have to collaborate in film. It's not just actors and it's not just camera. Like you need to kind of correlate nicely. You know, the sets were built. Credit to the production designer. Her name is Belle. She did a great job making like building this world because it's not realistic at all, isn't it? Like Thai prison doesn't look like that. It's like an imaginary. We want to design it to make it suitable for the green. The the brief was the green costume. That's the iconic thing. So it wouldn't make sense for them to be in like a class, like a normal Thai prison in that green, because that's not what they actually wear. It's like in a heightened reality, I would say.
I was like wondering, like maybe it's green in Thailand.
Yeah, I was also
Oh
like,
no.
I wasn't questioning it.
Yeah,
I was
me
like,
neither.
that's how it looks like.
Sorry to destroy your belief. The challenges is everywhere. It's like making it in time, because movie is also, you know, making movie is very expensive, and every moment is money. You know, people waiting for you, like you need to like go together. You know, like we're not gonna make this scene. We're not gonna like you have to like manage it a lot outside the creativity. Is a lot of things to think about, like how to manage, how do we get all of these scenes done. The whole series we have like what 360 scenes, I think, quite a lot of scenes in 29 days, so we have to divide it up.
Just can't imagine how also to go through so many scenes for editing.
uh
Like having so many scenes and then choose which one to take. Like, okay, wait, now I have a question. Because,
uh-huh.
okay, wait, when you have like you shoot one scene and you take like 5 takes, do you note down which take is your preferred one later for editing? Or like, do you have to go through everything again and like watch 300 plus scenes and decide which one?
You do take notes. You tell the video man. You tell like, I like this take. Mark that for me. So the head editor in this series called his name is Frame. If you look carefully, like the way ClaireBell is edited, it's like a handheld thing. You know, like we don't. It's never clean. We like to choose like the accidental takes. You know, when the camera whips here, it shift focus nicely. We need to select those moments quite carefully. Not just like if you look at other series like clean, cross, you know, clean, and it's kind of repetitive in the pattern of it. So with Clabber, we want to destroy all the pattern, be one step ahead of the audience in the most subtle way.
Nice. Oh, so interesting.
Yeah. We actually have lots of more questions, I feel like, but maybe we need another part.
time.
But before we let you go, we would like to ask you if you could sum up ClaireBell in like one line, what would it be?
Beautiful, heart-wrenching love story. I think, yeah.
I feel like I have to rewatch the whole series
Yeah.
now with all the insights.
That's what
and
I
like
think too.
I have to look out for the little hints
Exactly.
and Easter eggs as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. And all the jokes, all the stupid
Yes,
jokes that
all
I
the-
did.
Exactly.
I really want to see the blood scene as well again.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
wow.
Appreciate it even more.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh my God, this has been so much fun. Like I learned so much again, more about directing and like how a series is made.
Thank you as well, Josie and Melina. So good talking to you. So fun.
Thank you so much for tuning in again. Let us know in the comments down below what you would like to ask Jeen for part 2.
Like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video. Bye!
Thoughts and feelings? Leave them down below.
Like, share, and subscribe for even more fun in the future.